Especially the good one like that. Other saints linked with brewing was Saint Columban, who did missionary work in Germany. Found people preparing to consume a cask of beer in a ceremony to a pagan god. He blew upon the case, which fell apart, and the crowd became passionate. He miraculously increased the small amount of beer left. Saint Bride is credited with changing water in the beer to feed lepers. She personally brewed ale at Easter time to supply all the churches in the neighborhood. Basically, we've got a lot of drunken, a lot of drunken saints.
It's for festivities.
Yeah, well, yeah. So,
The saints were celebrating. Saint Mungo, the patron saint of Scotland's oldest city, Glasgow, established a religious brotherhood there in 540 AD, and they started brewing to supply the others.
Yeah, we say Glasgow is regarded as the oldest, is the oldest brewing area in the whole world. Is Glasgow still continually?
Oh, and Saint Patrick, as in Saint Patrick's Day, I'm presuming.
Yeah.
Okay. Numbered among his household a brewer, a priest called Meskin.
Isn't that, yeah.
Saint Patrick. I have a feeling Saint Patrick was brewing himself.
Yeah, it's been with this.
And why else would they have Saint Patrick's Day?
That's the Irish. The Irish are brewing. The Germans are brewing. The Italians are brewing. The Scots are brewing. The Russians are brewing. They basically.
You know, anybody that had grains.
Okay, let me tell you. I don't think it says it here, but my father will tell you that in Japan they take old American jock straps and use it to filter the stuff that they make.
No.
That's what he says Sapporo beer is.
That's bad. Apparently he didn't like Sapporo beer. But also medieval times, Emperor Charlemagne, the great Christian ruler, considered beer as essential for modern living and personally trained the realm's brewmasters.
That's right.
Oh, the King Arthur served his knights at the round table, a beer called Braggart.
Braggot.
Is that where they came up with the term bragging?
Braggadoon. I remember, folks, Charlemagne was the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, which most of these people were Germanic. Yeah, isn't that amazing? Now you're starting to get the Germans in beer everywhere. Through Charlemagne the Great. And like even in medieval times, beer was brewed generally by women.
How do you like that? Because women were the cooks.
They were responsible for the beer, which was regarded as a food drink. And after the monasteries established the beer methods of brewing, the alewives took the responsibility for further brewing.
A food drink because it's made out of grain, so instead of just having water, which you probably weren't really purifying water back then, right?
Oh yeah, basically this was, I love this.
This was their water.
Like that one in England.
Which one? A checkered flag indicated a place where ale and beer could be purchased in England.
Remember that flag that they do at the end of the Indy 500?
Yeah, is that what that's supposed to be?
Yeah, it means the beer is ready. Isn't that good? And they said many events of this era incorporated the word ale, reflecting its importance in society. Besides traditionally sold ale on their wedding day to defray the expenses, the bride sold the stuff to pay their bills. Hence the bride ale, which became bridal.
Oh, that's where it came from?
Bridal.
A place where ale and beer could be purchased in England.
Remember that flag that they do at the end of the Indy 500?
Yeah, is that what that's supposed to be?
Yeah, it means the beer is ready. Isn't that good? And they said many events of this era incorporated the word ale, reflecting its importance in society. Besides traditionally sold ale on their wedding day to defray the expenses, the bride sold the stuff to pay their bills. Hence the bride ale, which became bridal.
Oh, that's where it came from?
Bridal becomes from now you know.
Bride ale.
That's right.
And the bride sold the ale to afford
At
the
a bridal reception. Isn't that a good one? The reception.
A bride ale reception.
They were bringing gifts. They were giving the bride money. That's what they were giving her the money for, was to buy the ale that they were drinking at the reception.
Oh my God.
Isn't it amazing? I love it.
It's amazing how beer goes throughout the society.
Oh, here, I love this one. St. Thomas at Becket, you know, the guy, you know, that Richard Burton played, that Peter O'Toole had killed in 3 different movies. Yeah. Was selected as patron saint of one of the London Guilds, the Brewer Company. He went to France in 1158 to seek the hand of the French princess for Prince Henry, and he took barrels of British ale as gifts. Yeah. Once again, bride ale. Yeah, so I love that.
Bride ale.
Like the beer was handed out by the weary travelers. A pilgrim's tale of dole and ale, and bread could still be claimed by all welfares at the Hospital of St. Cross, Worcester, England. This is said to be founded by William of Wilcombe. It was claimed by Emerson, the American essayist, when visiting Westchester. Now we're getting closer.
There's actually some real interesting things in there that I never would have expected, such as all those saints.
Well, yeah, here's one that I tend to disagree with, though.
I disagree with this one because they're talking about ale and beer being interchangeable terms. They're
ale,
not. Ale is different than beer.
Ale is totally different than beer. I don't like ale. I like
Ale's
beer.
kind of like watery down.
Yeah, ale is not the okay. Ale can be. The British tend to use. Okay, I think Guinness tends to be more ale than beer.
Because it's more malt.
Yeah.
Okay.
But ale, which consists of malt usually made from barley and other grains, were used. Water and yeast was replaced by the start of the 15th century by beer. Introduced from Flanders, beer was bittered with hops and kept all the better than English ale because basically ale does not, like I said, ale doesn't last as long as beer.
It doesn't taste
because it's the ingredients that you put in the ale. We'll go to events, like they'll serve, a lot of people hold their things in microbreweries, and I really don't like the ale.
You don't see ale served as much.
No.
As often here. I know in Britain they're quite popular.
Yeah, I like that. Ladies in waiting in the court of King Henry VII were allowed a gallon of beer for breakfast alone.
Really? A gallon of beer for breakfast?
Queen Elizabeth, when traveling through the country, always sent couriers ahead to taste the local ale. If it didn't measure up the quality required, supply would be shipped from London for her. I like that one. William Shakespeare's father was an ale tester, or a conner. The conner tasted the ale by pouring some upon a bench and sitting on it while drinking the rest. If there was a sugar in the ale or was impure, their father's breeches would stick to it. Conner means sitting on your ass. So I say, okay, this is, okay, the dancer Donald O'Connor parents were they were circus acrobats, and they were known for their clown stunts, which was to bounce up and down on their butts on benches. Connor, sitting on their butts on benches. So obviously then they got the name Connor because their family somewhere along the line had been an ale tester.
That would be my guess.
So that they became conners and incorporated being a conner into the act, which was to basically do many things on benches. They would do acrobatic stunts, flip, sit on the bench, flip one side up. Sit on the bench, get their britches stuck to the bench. And not be, while they're trying to do this, then somebody may get up and then the guy goes off the other side. That makes sense. I saw their routine. Makes sense now because they were gymnasts and circus acrobats. And that was their big stick, was benches. So now we know
they were conners.
I know. Like that, the Dean of St. Paul's is credited with the invention of the bottled ale. Basically, a doctor...
Is that like St. Pauli's?
Yeah, I would think, yeah. Dr. Alexander Newell put ale in a bottle when he went fishing and left the bottle in the glass. Returning some years later, he found the cork came away with an explosion, but the taste and quality was ale was still good. What if you seared the thing? If you seal it up in it, you never let good ale or beer ferment in a clear glass because it destroys it. You always have a dark glass, and this obviously was
a clear glass.
They used dark.
No, before. Is that why it exploded?
No, it exploded because it had been there for years. It fermented in there. Clear stops the fermentation product. It deadens.
Oh, really?
Dark, though, is sealed in a dark area, just like a potato put in a
dark
area. It continues to do that. I love this. I like, here. The European beer first arrived with Christopher Columbus, naturally. On the last voyage of America, Columbus found that the natives of Central America were making a first-rate brew of maize resembling English beer. The Pilgrim Fathers landed on Plymouth Rock instead of further south as planned, partly because they were out of beer. That's a good one. In the journal, we could not take time for further search or consideration. Our vessels being much spent, especially the beer. Which means they were out of
They were out of beer.
They were out of beer, so let's pull ashore.
Well, that's often what happens, you know, like at a party when the liquor ends, the
Yeah.
party soon follows.
Yeah. I love that. At the end of the 17th century, the weekly allowance for pupils of all age at one English school was 2 bottles of beer a day. Beer was a good deal for safer and more palatable than available drinking water, which was often drawn from polluted rivers.
See what I mean? Because that's why I said, because they always say, well, you drink it like water,
Yeah,
right?
They
used it like water.
Yeah, it was common in the workplace. American statesman Benjamin Franklin, who lived in London from 57 to 74, recorded a daily beer consumption at a loyal printing house where he visited. The boys each had a pint before breakfast and a pint between breakfast and dinner, a pint at dinner, a pint at 6 o'clock, and a pint when they finished work. I can guarantee you, when I was young, I would take my father tins of beer.
Mm-hmm.
That was, you know, they didn't really have a lot of these bottles. You know, actually, my parents' family, way back then, they did do bathtub beer selling. You know,
Bathtub beer? What is bathtub beer?
Basically, it's like bathtub gin. You make it in a bathtub, and then you go bottle it and you sell it to people. The bottles were too expensive in those days. Which is, you know, like it cost this 5 cents that they want deposit. That's what they cost back then. That's what the beer would cost. People, the nickels were a lot, and people drank. You would drink a 6-pack of what people would drink there, because and so I they put it in a little, they'd get it in a tin. I take it over to my father where he was building something. So, and there was nothing of it. I mean, I would go into the local, the beer place and give them my thing, and then I'd just take it over. They didn't. I mean, nobody thought of kids because we had beer gardens, and there were beer gardens in Los Angeles in those days too.
Oh, really?
Families would go in and you'd put pictures of beer on top of the table, and they'd give beer to all the kids. You know, we didn't drink the water in Los Angeles for a long time. I can guarantee you did not drink the water. You know, first it was so bad you wouldn't drink it. Then they fluoridated it and you wouldn't drink it. You know why soft drinks became so popular in Los Angeles?
Water.
The water was so godly bad.
Really?
Well, it's just like, I think what my grandmother said, it's just like everybody was taking a bath in the water supply.
Ugh.
Yeah. So, well, that's what they used. The water supply from Los Angeles came from the irrigation system they put in. Mm-hmm. You know, the big, everything came down here, mm-hmm. and people would basically go swimming in the irrigation system, and they would go